America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Political tribalism calluses your soul. I just love that expression. Dangerous partisanship calluses your soul. The internet can callous your soul. Political tribalism, extreme political tribalism calluses your soul. Smart guy I follow on Twitter posted that yesterday, talking about social media, how social media calluses your soul, hardens you, moves you away from the things you know are right and the things you believe in. And it's all about, I got to win. My side's got to win. I've got to prevail. We forget what matters. We forget what's right and wrong. Or it doesn't matter what's right and wrong. Our soul is calloused. We callous our soul. We become hardened robots only interested in winning and prevailing. We lose our humanity. We lose our sense of right and wrong. Political tribalism does this to us. Like my team, my guy, TikTok, my side, they got to win, and they're never wrong. Trump is never wrong. I believe in the Constitution, Joe, and I fear executive overreach, Joe, but Donald Trump, never wrong. Everything he does is right. Everything he touches turns to gold. It's a both sides problem. Way too many Americans are politically tribal, left and right. Like so much else today, it's in a much more dangerous place on the MAGA right. Political tribalism, meaning I'm on a team, I'm part of a tribe, I'm on a side. My side, my team must win. So I will sacrifice the things I believe in. I will look away from the things I know are right. Because I got to fucking win and I got to defeat the other side. Your soul. We talk about how so many of my former Republican colleagues in this age of Trump, they've sold their souls. What does that mean? I say that a lot, right? I say that a lot. So many of the guys that I served with in Congress, Republicans, so many of the right-wing media guys that were my colleagues, I say often that they sold their soul. What do I mean? I mean, like they know what's right. They know what's principled. They know what matters, but they put all that stuff to the side to win, to stay in power, to stay relevant. It's not just Republican members of Congress. Voters do it. Political tribalism calluses our souls as well. So like when yesterday Man, yesterday was a dark day. It was a dark day, TikTok. The shit that Trump said in the Oval Office yesterday, if it doesn't send a chill up your spine, then you've forgotten what America is, or you are right now just hopelessly politically tribal. The President of the United States yesterday said again, he said often yesterday, it's not the first time he said it, but he said yesterday in the Oval Office, he wants to put American citizens in foreign jails. He would like to put American citizens in that El Salvador jail. I think we have one of those clips, Keith.
We're getting them out.
Do we have any of that?
The president is helping us with that, President Bukele. So I was very impressed with him, really very impressed. Great guy.
Could we use it for violent criminals, our own violent criminals?
I call them homegrown criminals.
Yes.
I mean, the
homegrowns.
The ones that grew up and something went wrong and they hit people over the head with a baseball bat. We have, and push people into subways just before the train gets there, like you see happening sometimes. We are looking into it and we want to do it. I would love to do that.
Okay, so
we want to do it. I would love to do it. Homegrown criminals, Trump said. American-born criminals, Trump said. He was caught again on a hot mic yesterday before he and the El Salvador president went into the Oval Office, talking about, hey, can you build more prisons down there? Because I want to send homegrown violent criminals down there. American citizens. And don't play the cute game with me, TikTok, Facebook. Don't play the cute game with me. Homegrowns. Trump knows what that means. He's talking about American citizens. He's talking about American citizens who are violent criminals. Donald Trump said, the president of the United States said yesterday, again, he wants to send them to foreign prisons. Utterly unconstitutional. Utterly illegal. He can't. He doesn't have the constitutional authority to do it. It's against the law. But that's not the point. The point is, this is the president saying again that he wants to do it. I'm not talking about illegal aliens. I'm not talking about people here on student visas. I'm not talking about permanent legal residents of America. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is talking about American citizens, throwing them out to languish in some foreign gulag for the rest of their lives. A concept that is utterly un-American. And MAGA, Trump supporters, to applaud this, you know, the old Joe Walsh would have said, you hate America. Because if you're down with this, if you're down with the president acting like a dictator, an authoritarian, a tyrant, and throwing American citizens in foreign jails, well, then you don't like America. You don't understand America. You don't believe in the Constitution. Trump said this again yesterday. It's dark, dark shit. Not a word from Republicans. Not a word. And I don't want to play the game. Oh my God, can you imagine how crazy they'd go on Fox News? back in the day, if Barack Obama had said something like this, every American should know that what Trump said is wrong. Every American should know what Trump said is illegal and unconstitutional. But more importantly, every American should know what Trump said yesterday in the Oval Office is un-American, utterly un-American, goes against everything we are, everything we stand for, every bit as much as denying due process to anybody. And yet, political tribalism calluses your soul. Trump supporters cheer this, applaud this, applaud the president assuming the role of a dictator. Remember, an American president can't do what Trump wants to do. Only dictators, right? Authoritarian regimes can do shit like that. Not here. But Trump supporters applauding this. Talk about calloused souls. What does that mean? Does that mean Trump supporters don't believe in the Constitution, the rule of law? Trump supporters are perfectly fine giving Donald Trump unlimited powers? I had a conversation yesterday with a Trump supporter. You know, a big part of what I've been doing, and we've been filming these conversations. I've been having conversations with the American people, right, left, in between, groups, big, small, you name it, about any kind of issue, topic, you name it. I think the country needs to have face-to-face conversations. That's what I intend to do this next year and a half, 2 years. Had a conversation, and we're filming these conversations so that we all as Americans can learn from them. But I had a conversation yesterday with a Trump supporter who loved this idea. He said, Joe, it's great. Violent criminals. Did you hear what Trump said? You take a baseball bat and you bash some 87-year-old woman's head in. Man, send that person to El Salvador. And he gave another example. This Trump supporter, a good guy, used to be a big supporter of mine, no longer, used to be a good friend of mine, no longer, but we still talk on occasion. But he is enamored with this idea of allowing Trump to grab American citizens and throw them off in foreign prisons. And I started to talk about the law, how the law doesn't permit it. I started to talk about the Constitution, how the Constitution doesn't permit it. The president doesn't have the authority to do this, can't do it in America. He wanted nothing of that. This Trump supporter, TikTok, didn't want to hear any of that. He was transfixed by this idea of Donald Trump acting like a tyrant with unlimited powers to just be able to step all over the Constitution and throw American citizens in foreign prisons. It wasn't a surprising conversation, but it was really troubling. It bummed me out. And I thought of this expression, how his soul has been calloused. He's excited about, he's pushing for something deep down in his soul, he knows isn't right. He knows isn't right. But he's so now a Trumper, he's so MAGA that whatever semblance of principles he had, out the window. Don't care. Joe, in this case, don't care about the law. Joe, in this case, don't care about the Constitution. He said to me, not unapologetically, kind of with a smile, Joe, man, violent criminals, I don't care if they're American citizens. Let Trump do it, Joe. Let Trump do it. Political tribalism. Political tribalism just kind of erases any notion that he had of right and wrong. And then we talked about due process. I talked about due process with this Trump supporter. And he right away jumped in, said, Joe, due process for you and me, we're American citizens. But Joe, no due process for somebody in this country illegally. No due process, Joe, for non-citizens, even if you're here on a student visa, even if you're a permanent legal resident, a green card holder, no due process for them, Joe. Due process only for American citizens. And so I called a timeout. And I respectfully walked him through the law, the Constitution, both of which make eminently clear that everyone in America, per our laws, per our Constitution, everyone is entitled to due process, citizen and non-citizen alike. And I'm marching him through the law, the Constitution. He wants nothing to do with it. Doesn't want to hear it. Man, Joe, no, you're in this country illegally. That guy, that Maryland guy, who was accidentally put in that El Salvador prison. Sorry, Joe, he didn't deserve due process. It ended with, I said, you deny due process for someone else, you make it a lot easier to deny due process to you. Doesn't matter, Joe. Doesn't matter, Joe. We're fine, Joe. Let Trump do what he wants, Joe. Again, not at all surprising. So fucking troubling. Because this guy, no dummy, again, longtime Trump supporter, used to be my supporter, used to be a good friend of mine. He's still hardcore MAGA. He's no dummy. But yet he's willing to sit down with me and say, in these two occasions, when it comes to sending American citizens to foreign jails, and when it comes to not allowing due process for people here, certain people here, he has no problem abandoning any belief in the Constitution or the law. It's all about Trump. Trump should do what he wants. Trump's doing right. Trump's gonna win. Our side has to win. And his soul, his notion of what right and wrong, his notion of good and bad, just utterly hardened. Utterly hardened. And look, it became clear to me talking to him as I engage with, and I engage with Trump supporters every day. Even this case of the Maryland guy, Abrigio Garcia, I had this gets to me, right? I know it seems like I'm always happy. I'm not always happy. Yesterday, I was bummed out. It was this conversation and some other conversations that just bummed me out, realizing how lost we are. And the other thing that hit me was we're not even all speaking off the same fact sheet. We're not speaking off the same fact sheet, the same set of facts and truths. This Maryland guy who the Trump administration admitted, we fucked up, we made a mistake. Oops, he shouldn't be down there. Even in this case, we're not all dealing with the same basic facts. Joe, he was in this country illegally. This guy, Abricio Garcia. No, he's not. No, he wasn't. Joe, he was a gang member. He's part of that MS-13 gang. No, he wasn't. No proof, no evidence. The guy had no criminal record, Abricio Garcia. He was a legal resident of this country. He was here legally under a protected order. The court ordered him not, or ordered the government not to deport him to El Salvador. That's a fact. Again, and I spent most of the day just arguing with Trump supporters. He was not here illegally. Here are the facts, right? Here are the facts. He entered the country illegally back in 2011. He's gone through the process. He went through the process. He got in front of a federal judge back in 19, and the government couldn't make the case that he was a gang member. And in 2019, the judge, the federal court, said he should stay here under a protected order. He must not be deported back to El Salvador. That's what the government gave. Our government gave him a hearing. The courts gave him a hearing, and our government couldn't make the case that he needed to be deported. They couldn't make the case that he was Venezuelan, El Salvadoran gang member. And so to protect him from having to go back, from being persecuted, our courts ruled that he's here legally. He's here under legal protected status, and he cannot be deported to El Salvador. Those are facts. He had no criminal record. Government couldn't provide one. Those are facts. He was accidentally put on an airplane 3 weeks ago. That's a fact. So here you got a guy, no criminal record. He's in this country legally, and our government fucked up and accidentally put him in an El Salvador prison. Those are the facts. But yet, as I'm talking about it all day with Trump supporters, Joe, he's here illegally. He's a gang member. Over and over and over. We're not even speaking the same language. How do you deal with that? How do you defeat that? And how does any American? And I asked this Trump supporter this question. This was the last one I asked him. All of that aside, I said, the Trump administration admitted they made a mistake. It was an administrative error, they said. He shouldn't have been on that plane sent to El Salvador. I said, shouldn't we correct that mistake? We sent an innocent man to a terrorist prison. A terrorist prison in El Salvador. Shouldn't we bring him back? Trump supporter. Nothing we can do about it now, Joe. Nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can look. A bad guy. And Joe, he was in this country illegally. I'm sorry, some mistakes happen, but he shouldn't have been here. So he's in that prison, that terrorist prison, inadvertently, mistakenly. We've talked about the only other one where we've put a name and a face to someone, the gay barber from Venezuela, who's down in that El Salvador prison, who is no Venezuelan gang member. But again, if you've got a conscience, I keep thinking, I keep asking myself, and shouldn't we all? How many others did we send down to this El Salvador terrorist prison who shouldn't be there, who shouldn't have been sent? The data shows 75, 90% of the people we sent down there had no criminal record. No criminal record. But political tribalism calluses your soul. So we can't even, too many of us can't even. This Trump supporter I spoke with yesterday couldn't even give me a basic human response. We messed up, I said. We sent an innocent man down there. And he, because he's so tied to Trump, because he's so MAGA, because he so wants, again, for a lot of reasons, Trump to win and succeed, he's willing to not even react like a human and feel some empathy for a human being, the father of a 5-year-old who's sitting down in a terrorist prison in El Salvador right now. Talk about a calloused soul, a hardened soul. We can't even be human. Again, I'll talk about the law and the Constitution till I'm blue in the face. How about just the fucking right thing to do? Our government fucked up. We sent him down there, shouldn't have. Grab him, bring him back. You want to then give him due process here? Give him due process. Give him another hearing, see what happens. That's what he's owed. And by the way, this notion of no due process, Joe, no due process for non-citizens. Do you understand that due process is the process the government uses to determine who the hell somebody is? Due process enables that. Are you here legally? Are you here illegally? Why are you here? How'd you get here? Do you have a criminal record? Are you the member of a Venezuelan gang? Boom, boom, boom. Due process reveals all that information. You can't tell me somebody is a Venezuelan gang member without due process. Come on now. Come on now, MAGA. Don't you understand that? Look, I'll just say this. I'll close with this. I'm a big Second Amendment guy. I'm a big gun rights guy. What I saw in the White House yesterday was a tyrant. What I saw and heard in the White House yesterday was everything our founding fathers feared. A tyrant exhibiting tyrannical behavior. A tyrant saying, fuck due process, I can do whatever I want. A tyrant saying, you know what? Fuck the Constitution. I may just exile American citizens. I heard and saw a tyrant yesterday in the White House, sent absolute chills up my spine. And I kept thinking, thank God for the Second Amendment. This is why I so believe in the Second Amendment. My fear of a tyrant abusing my basic human freedoms, my fear of a tyrant coming to grab my guns. And now we have that tyrant in the White House. We have that tyrant in the White House who doesn't care at all about due process. Thank God we have a Second Amendment. A tyrant in the White House who, if he didn't like me because I'm a critic of his, a public critic of his, he could try to go after me, throw me in an El Salvador prison. Thank God we have the Second Amendment. Donald Trump is the very tyrant our founders feared. The tyrannical behavior he's engaged in right now is exactly why our founders insisted upon the Second Amendment. No, Chris James, the Second Amendment protects us from tyrants, Chris James. Read some history. Our founders feared tyrants, Chris James. A tyrant that would come take away your guns, that would come take away your right to defend yourself. I love putting this in front of my MAGA brothers and sisters because my MAGA brothers and sisters have always claimed to be such big gun rights folks like me. Man, if you're a big gun rights person, like our founders, there's nothing you fear more than a tyrant. Maybe that's why yesterday hit me really so hard. Just dark, dark stuff coming out of the White House yesterday. And I thought, as the day was ending, I thought, thank God for the Second Amendment. Thank God we have a Second Amendment. What will this man do, this tyrant do? There isn't a freedom, there isn't a right of ours that he would not try to infringe upon. And clearly, don't tell me it's just for them. He's just coming for them. Trump's just coming after brown and black people, right, who are not American citizens. Trump's just coming after them. Trump's just going to deny them of their rights, right? Those brown and black people who aren't here legally. Those are the ones that Trump doesn't give a damn about. He's just going to trample all over their due process, right? Their rights, not me, not white American me. Trump's not coming after me. You got nothing to worry about, Joe. You're white. You're an American. Trump's going to leave us alone because, like, Trump wants a white Christian America. He's just going after those brown and black people who are in this country who aren't citizens yet. Those are the ones, Joe, that Trump's he doesn't care about their rights, but you and me, he's not going to touch our rights. Oh, yeah, you right? You sure? You sure? Are you? You give a tyrant the ability to go after anybody. You give a tyrant the freedom to take away basic human rights from anybody. He'll come knocking on your door. He'll come knocking on your door. Man, take a look at your soul. MAGA, take a look at your soul. Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States, MAGA? Do you believe we are a nation of laws, MAGA? Think about that. Because I think it's clear right now that you've taken whatever belief you had in the Constitution, whatever belief you had in freedom, whatever belief you had in the law, and you've just thrown those to the side of the road in obedience to a tyrant, an absolute tyrant. Hey, thank you for listening, everybody. Still got a cough. A couple quick things. We are growing by leaps and bounds, my Substack. If you are not on Substack yet, thank you, Keith. Man, come on Substack. Subscribe to Social Contract with Joe Walsh.substack.com. There it is. Doesn't have to cost you a damn thing. We put out more and more. We're putting out so much of what we're doing on Substack, all of our videos, writing pieces 2-3 times a week, it's becoming the central location for what I do with the social contract. I want you to be a part of it. There are also a lot of cool, fun bells and whistles giving you access to Joe Walsh that you cannot get on any other social media platform. So that's all. Just consider it, give it a look. Social Contract with Joe Walsh.substack.com. Become a subscriber. You don't have to be a paid subscriber. Just become a subscriber. Start getting everything we're doing. And then if you're fired up about it, man, think about being a paid subscriber down the road. But we're building a community on Substack. I go out every week, and I'm going out every week having conversations with Americans of every viewpoint. Every viewpoint. Again, from MAGA to anti-MAGA. By the way, that makes me think, thanks, Keith, if you'd like me to have a conversation with you and a few folks you know, wherever you live in the country, I'm getting out every week. We go out on the road. Shoot me an email. Would love to come to your town, your city. You want to come at Joe Walsh? Come at me respectfully. Would love it. Shoot me an email. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'm sitting down with groups of 2 all the way up to groups of 200 and everywhere in between. We're just having conversations. Tough conversations, respectful conversations, engaging conversations. No debates, no fights. I don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Used to do that. So shoot me an email, the Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. If you'd like to see me come to Cyrax, bring me, man. You, me, and a couple of your buds. I'll come to where you are. Let's have a conversation. Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, have a really, really good Tuesday. As always, be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract